It is now time to start the assembly process. The first thing we will do is take an edge beveler and we bevel the edges of the back flap or the belt flap and also the top opening of the holster. We will first bevel the edges, both front and back. Next, we will dampen the edges with either water or gum tragacanth. And when I say dampen, I mean damp, not real soggy. So a few passes with this sponge is really all that's needed in this case. I will use the round edge slicker here as much as I can. However, we do have some inside curves here that are hard to reach with the slicker, so if I take a bone folder, I can slick those inside curves real nicely. In this case, we're going to leave the bottom of this holster open, so I am edge beveling and slicking the part at the bottom where the opening will be. When we fold this holster over to stitch it, it's going to get rather thick over here, so we should do a little skiving. Now take the skiving knife and we'll skive along the edge where the two pieces will join together. And it'll take several passes along here. You should skive it down to about 1/2 the thickness of what it originally was. And we'll do that to both edges. Now it is time to prepare for the belt loop, and to do that I will first flip it over and dampen the back. Now at this time, depending on how fast you're going to work, you can dampen the entire back side of your holster. The main reason I'm dampening there is because we are going to be folding this back, and as we fold it back in position, we want it to be damp. And if you want, you can take a mallet and pound this down some. Now we will take our awl and we'll mark the position. Now at this time, we need to make a decision as to whether we're going to rivet this in place or stitch it. I prefer to stitch it. At this time, we'll double check to make sure that we have enough room here for a 2-inch belt, so we will kind of make a mark here and a mark over here. This will be the uppermost limits where we will stitch. Now I'm going to take a wing divider and mark where our stitch line is going to be. And now I'm using a stitching groover to make a groove in there for my thread. Next, I will use a stitch marker to mark for our stitches in the groove. For the area where we're going to fasten the belt loop, we will use cement, so I'm roughing the leather up with the edge of a knife to make sure we get a good bond with the cement. Now you could also do this with some fine-grained sandpaper. We'll do this area down here, and we will also do the area up here on the flap. And now we will apply a good quality contact cement to both the area down here and the area on the end of the flap. We will apply this and allow it to dry until it gets tacky. Our cement has dried until it has become tacky, so now we can stick this in place, and if you want, you can pound it down, and now we're ready to stitch. Now that our belt loop is stitched in place, it is time to get ready for the final assembly, and the first thing I'll do is take my stitching groover and cut a line for my stitching, as you see me doing here. Next, we will use our contact cement to cement the two edges together, and as we did with the belt loop, we will apply cement to both surfaces. We have allowed our cement to dry until it's tacky, and now we can put the two edges together, being very careful to get everything aligned properly. And now we will take our overstitch wheel and mark for the stitches. After we have stitched the edge, we will now take the edge beveler and we'll bevel these edges, both top and bottom. And now we can dampen the edge, and with the slicker or with the bone folder, you can slick the edge. And our holster is finished, all ready for your favorite finishing technique. I like to just oil a holster, and if you want, you can wet this holster, put the gun in a plastic bag and form it over the gun leave it overnight to dry. If you would like to learn more about making your own custom holsters, there's a book I would like to show you. The How to Make Holsters book by Al Stoneman has a wealth of information on making custom holsters. In addition to having exact patterns for about 22 different holsters, including a shoulder holster rig, it has many techniques on how to accomplish this. It shows you, among other things that are not well known, is how to prepare a holster for machine sewing. It has information on making a variety of belt loops as well as end caps. It has instructions on how to put holster fillers in and also to make different variations of the bottom of a holster. Instructions on how to put leather linings in holsters is also included, as well as various ways of attaching safety straps. It has instructions on how to make the very popular skirt-style holsters. In addition to the cutting and tooling patterns for the 22 holsters we saw earlier, it also has many other ideas on how to decorate your holsters. Here is an example of one of the patterns for a Colt 38 police pistol.